Did you know that Jesus didn't have only 12 disciples? Okay, I know it's not the newest statement of all, but for some people, it might be new information. What I do know is that you definitely haven't thought about the disciples Jesus had hidden. Stay with me because we are going to talk about those people who don't seem to be following Jesus but are indeed doing so. The first point to discuss is about the people who are disciples. Normally, we consider as disciples those who learn from Jesus and teach about Jesus. The first disciples were usually those who walked with Jesus. The most well known are the 12 apostles, but also have other groups of people who served Jesus and were as visible as the first 12. We are talking about those 17 whom Jesus sent to preach out. If we bring this to today times, we see people who clearly serve Jesus and are more visible, like pastors or priests, and others who are serving but are not as visible, like the people who go to church. But what if I tell you that there are people who don't belong to this group and yet are also spreading the gospel? Yes, I know. It might be a bit shocking. Normally, we think that Christians are only those who go to church. Normally, we think that Christians are only those who go to church. But already in Jesus' time, there were people who weren't with Jesus and yet were considered servants and disciples. Do you want to see some examples? On one hand, there are those people who serve Jesus only with their financial means, like the woman mentioned in the Bible in Luke 8. Others are those who visit Jesus in secret and sometimes, under pressure, have to keep quiet about their faith. For example, Nicodemus in John 3 or 7. There are also those who barely know Jesus and are already talking about him even more gathering together, like the Samaritan woman whom Jesus met at the well in John 4. And then there is another very interesting type of Christian, those who want to follow Jesus but can't, and all they have to offer is their testimony. That doesn't make them any less important. We see, for example, the Gadarene demoniac who, speaking about what the Lord had done in his life, preaching in 10 cities. Finally, there are those who hold important positions and who, at first glance, don't seem to be Christians, but when necessary, they show it, like Joseph of Arimathea, whom we didn't know until he appeared to take Jesus to the tomb. Do you see how many different ways there are to follow Jesus? If being a disciple necessarily implies gathering with others, that's not exactly what the Bible shows. If when Jesus was present, it was possible to be disciple in secret, alone, or only with material means, how much more now that he's not physically present? So think that there are Christians in churches and Christians outside of churches. However, one thing must be said. There is not the final situation that the Lord wants. In John, he has already said that there were other sheep that were not of that fold, but they will gather and then there will be one flock. Therefore, for you who are in a church, good job. It's not always easy to stand out, but know that the one who is not with you, God considers. And if you are not in a church, I want to remind you that God hasn't forgot you and takes into account your service. However, his goal is for all us of being together. This video is an extension of this except from my message, who is not against us. I remember you that my messages are available in 7 languages, which I myself make an effort to record. My goal is to fulfill the desire of the Lord Jesus that we all be together on unity. Check out the main video. It can surely contribute to improving your Christian life. I'm Presley, and I have to warn you, the reign of heaven is near.